the corner.
Well, some of the guys up here in the booth told me that they don't have much speed, but I think they must have been sandbagging me because he looked pretty fast there, Simon Woodruff. He is big, and he looked very fast on that play. And that way they faked the jet sweep and handed off on the playoff tackle and just ate up yards.
First and goal at the 7. Man in motion right to left, handoff to the fullback, and he is absolutely smacked right there at the line of scrimmage. And that was Kellen's step, Eddie. He just met him right at the line of scrimmage and knocked him down, and that is going to be no gain. Second and goal. Actually, it's a loss. Let's see where they mark it back. Thought he got hit at the line of scrimmage, but he kept going, so they will mark it back to about the 11.
Well, that was a nice play by Keelan, and I'm sure Brent's very proud of him right now.
Absolutely, absolutely. A great play. Just stepped up into that gap, and that's what you got to do. Somebody's got to make a play to pick up Roth. Man in motion is right to left, trying to get to the side, and he is going to be running inside the 10-yard line. Darlington strung that out pretty well, Eddie, and it was Stepp and Tinkerbell on the tackle. No, that was Rhett McDermott. So Rhett McDermott and Jacob Hunt on that tackle, and now it's going to be third and goal, and I think it's marked at the 9. Yes, indeed.
Actually, that was a toss sweep, basic out of the double. That's one of the basic plays out of the double wing. You send one of those guys in motion at the last minute before the ball is snapped, and just toss it to him coming around from his right to the left. And Darlington made a good play out there with the linebackers.
Hill under center, drops back. He's thrown to the corner of the end zone. Incomplete. Coverage out there by Roth Wilcox. And let's see what the Bowden Red Devils will choose to do here on fourth and goal from the 9.
Well, I see Nathan Hill out there holding his hands up. Are they going to go for it? The coach looks like he's trying. Yep, looks like a T. So sure I guess he's the place kicker. Maybe he's the holder. He must be the holder.
Well, they've already set the clock, so they're going to have a hard time getting everybody on there without having to call a timeout, Eddie. That ball's going to be placed at the 16-yard line, and Kyle Franklin, the senior, is going to be in kicking formation, and they are going to have to call a timeout. So 7 minutes left in tonight's contest. In the first quarter. 7 minutes, no score. We're going to send it back to WLAQ for a timeout break. You're listening to Darlington football on WLAQ. Back here at Bowden Warren P. Sewell Field, Darlington has stopped Bowden inside the 10, and they will attempt a field goal. The ball is put down at the 16. It is up, and it is going to be good. And so Kyle Franklin puts the ball through on a 26-yard field goal, and with 6:56 to play here in the first quarter, Eddie, Bowden has a 3-0 lead, and so the turnover by Darlington hurts. It could have been a lot worse.
Well, it could have. That was they stiffened nicely. Once, of course, they started out in the red zone. They were on the 19 when they took possession of the ball, and Darlington let them get down to the 9-yard line. But that's as far as they got. That was a nice stand.
All right, Tigers will be receiving the football. A couple of reminders as we get ready for the kickoff by Bowden. Our Honeymoon Bakery icing on the cake player of the game will be announced at the end of tonight's broadcast. Honeymoon Bakery down on Broad Street. If you have never been to the Honeymoon Bakery, you need to go. You will not be disappointed. If you have been, I'm sure you keep going back. Wonderful delectables at the Honeymoon Bakery, including breakfast Monday through Saturday. And then Steak and Shake sponsoring our halftime report. and our post-game report. Steak and Shake, Turner McCall Boulevard in Rome, Georgia. And steak burgers, really, really great. Milkshakes, just wonderful food, wonderful service, convenient location. Steak and Shake, Turner McCall Boulevard, Rome, Georgia. All right, Darlington going to receive this kickoff line drive kick. Tajay Watley catches it at the 8. He's driving straight upfield. Tajay Watley with a head of steam is going to be out to about the 34-yard line. Eddie, that was a quirky kick by Noah Langley. And it was just, I don't think it got more than about 10 feet off the ground.
It was a line drive all the way, wasn't it? And I thought he might have some more room to maneuver in there, but Bowden did a good job of converging there in the right on the hash mark, the right-hand hash mark, and putting a stop to that run.
So Franklin kicked the field goal, and Langley kicked off. So they have different kickers for those duties. Griffin Brewster in a shotgun formation. 2 wideouts to the far side. Handoff to Tajay Watley up the middle. Tajay Watley, both arms around the ball, Eddie. He's going to have a gain of about 3 out to about the 37-yard line of the Darlington Tigers.
Hunter Grizzard from the Red Devils had him wrapped up there. That was just a dive into the center of the line and just ate him up.
All right, 2 wideouts to the far side. Tajay Watley in a Wildcat formation, man in the slot over on the left. 4 down lineman for Bowden. Tajay Watley, he's got the ball 40, 45, and he's grabbed around the shoulders and wrestled down like a steer at a rodeo out at about the 48-yard line. And Eddie, I have to tell you, I'm not a fan of the Wildcat, but that worked.
Well, of course, the uninitiated call it the Wildcat. It's actually a form of the single wing. It's just a direct snap to a running back, basically what it is. It looked good that time, didn't it?
It did look good that time. I'm not a fan of it, though. And let's see, I believe that Bowden almost jumped offside. Griffin Brewster getting changed in play. Tajay Watley's his halfback. 3 wideouts to this side, 1 to the far side. He's going to throw the ball. Intercepted. Boy, intercepted at the 39, and the man who made the interception, Eddie, number 51, I guess that's, Jalen Baker. He is cornerback, and he grabbed that ball and was tackled right there, but Griffin just underthrew that ball.
Well, the play went bad from the very beginning. The snap back to him was bounced off the ground, and he had to cover it and didn't seem to get his feet set. Just threw the ball short.
5:45 to play in the first quarter. Bowden up 3-0. Darlington has already turned the ball over twice. Let's get these jitters out of the way, Eddie.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I think that's the first bad pass we've seen Griffin throw this year.
Yeah, he's really been on the mark and was on fire last week. All right, Bowden in a double wing. Wide out to this side. Darlington, 3 down linemen. Linebackers coming up. Hand off to the right wing back. And
got an illegal procedure.
Illegal procedure against Bowden, so that's nice if you're a Darlington fan. Both teams making some mental mistakes right now.
And, of course, Darlington's the only one that made a mistake that led to points. So.
All right, number 15, Nathan Hill coming in as quarterback for Bowden with the play. And we have Hunt, Ball, and Ratledge across the front. Roth Wilcox over here. Number 32 for Darlington is coming up on the line here. That's Tommy Atha. Hand off to the right wing back. And, boy, he got just upended there by Mr. Tommy Atha. A great play here, Eddie, out on the near side.
Well, they sent Tommy in on a blitz that time, and it was as if they knew of the play they were running because he was right there where he needed to be to make the tackle.
That's a loss, too.
Yeah.
Loss of about 1. After the penalty and the loss, the line to make for Bowden is the Darlington 49, and they are at the 35. So a 16-yard deficit they've got to make up. 2nd down and 16. Double wing formation, man in motion left to right, handoff on a counter play, and I believe there's going to be another penalty called against the Red Devils. That will mark them back to the 30, so they will now have a 2nd and 21.
Even Bowden seems a little out of sync. Darlington always gets out of sync when they come to Bowden, but even Bowden looks a little out of sync right now.
Yeah, it's an interesting place. We've seen some very fascinating things happen down here. And Bowden, the teams fight very hard, but unusual things happen. Probably ought to bring bottled water and not drink the water down here. All right, Darlington, 3-down lineman and a linebacker on this side, and he's going to be back to pass. Jacob Hunt smacked the quarterback, but he got the ball downfield.
He's going to score.
Number 4, he's going to score on a 70-yard touchdown pass from Nathan Hill to Ben Fortson. He just got behind the secondary, and he jumped up higher than Casey Gunn, and then he turned it on, Eddie.
Well, give Nathan Hill credit. He stood in there, stood in the pocket, and got his feet set and made a good throw and took the punishment. But he got off a good pass, and I thought Jacob was going to get him before he could throw the ball. It was that close, and so now they're up 9-0 after that long pass.
4:12 to play here after the touchdown. Illegal substitution against Bowden on the extra point here. Eddie, are they not going to? Well, they are. They are going to assess it here. And so the extra point will be kicked from the 15 instead of the 10. That's Kyle Franklin. And the ball will be held by Nathan Hill. The ball's down. It is blocked. And there's a flag down.
Can't see a indication.
A flag on the play.
They're holding a meeting out there now.
Let's see. It was blocked. Darlington had a man who came through and blocked it. They're going to call a personal foul against Darlington.
Now I wonder if they will assess that on the kickoff. I think they are. I think they're going to assess it on the kickoff. So, nope.
Well,
now
they're moving it half the distance to the goal. Actually, they've moved it more than half the distance. Trying to really see what they did do, Eddie. Okay, they're going to try the point after again, and the ball is in. Yeah, it's no good. Gosh,
that was just a low kick. It got went under the crossbars. It was just a line drive kick that never got any height on it. He's a straight-on kicker, and probably had his plant foot too far from the ball and just got on top of it, and it never got any elevation out of it.
Kyle Franklin misses the extra point. So with 4:12 left, 9-0 Bowden over Darlington. We'll send it back to WLAQ for a 30-second break, and we'll be right back. Don't go away. Well, back here at Warren P. Sewell Field, Eddie, it's almost like there are poltergeists and ghosts and goblins roaming the Darlington sideline. 2 turnovers already tonight, and Darlington has given up 9 points. Bowden has converted those turnovers. So the Tigers are going to have to settle down now and start moving the football. It's going to be a pooch kick coming down to a man at the 26. He breaks through at the 40, and then he's knocked down or tripped.
That was Colin Rogers on there, and just a shoestring tackle there. Looked like he had some open ground in front of him. Good play by the Bowden player to come in there and get his hands on his ankles.
All right, to keep the ball out of the hands of Tajay Watley, a short kick. Darlington brings it out. Rogers brings it out to the 41-yard line, and the Darlington Tigers will scrimmage on their second possession of the night over here on the near hash mark. Unusual goings on for Darlington. Griffin Brewster in a shotgun. Hands off to Tajay Watley, who cuts up inside. Bowden had men blitzing Eddie. He gains about 2. He was trying to get to the corner and then had to cut it up inside.
Yes, got shut off out there. He took the handoff straight ahead and then turned to try to get some distance to the outside, and they had a contained man out there. He had no choice but to cut it back up inside. They were waiting on him.
2 wide outs to the far side, 1 to the near side. Tajay Watley in a wildcat formation, 4 down lineman for Bowden. Watley takes the snap and he comes to the near side, and he is going to be tackled at about the 46-yard line, and Darlington will be left, Eddie, with a 3rd and about 5.
Well, that was just that. Again, as you say, wildcat. That's just a direct snap to Tajay, and he ran to the boundary or the short side of the field, and there were just too many players over there for him to outrun anybody because there's just nowhere to go.
This is a big play for Darlington early in the football game. It's a big play because the Tigers have turned the ball over twice and trail by 9. And Darlington really needs to be able to convert on this 3rd down and keep the drive going. A little timeout here for one of the Bowden players to tie his shoe. As soon as he is finished with that activity, we will get back to football. The referee standing there over him. 3:04 to play here in the first quarter. If you're just joining us, Darlington with 2 turnovers, trailing 9-0 to the Bowden Red Devils. Griffin Brewster in a shotgun, 3 wide outs to the far side. He's looking to his left, has a man on him. And just nothing that Colin Zazzaro could do that time, Eddie. And
well, he just beat Collins' block and just a bull rush. He kind of looked like Davin Bellamy for Georgia, just overpowered him, and Collins slapped in his head in frustration, but he got in there and just got a solid sack. Now Darlington's going to have to get rid of the ball again.
Sack by Zaylen Wood. Tate Ratledge to punt for the Darlington Tigers. High kick. It's going to hit the ground at about the 27. And Dede Cox takes the ball to his right. He did not let that ball roll, Eddie. Very smart decision. And he keeps Bowden from losing more field position. He's knocked out of bounds. Let's see where they mark it.
Think about the 35.
Yeah, that's where Bowden will scrimmage. So Bowden with a 34-yard line on the far hash mark, Bowden will take over the football. 2:11 to play here in the first quarter.
Well, Darlington's defense has looked pretty impressive except for a breakdown that they had in there. Had them 2nd and 25, and then he throws a touchdown pass. So they're struggling against Darlington except for that one pass play.
Nathan Hill under center for Bowden, a double wing formation. Wing back on the far side, 1 wide out to the near side. Darlington needs a play. Hand off to the right wing back, and Tinkerbell slides down the line, tackles them about the line of scrimmage, no gain.
Buck sweep by Bowden out of there, just a wing T type play, even though they weren't in a wing T formation, but wing T type play. The wing back on that side goes in motion right before the ball snap, just comes, the quarterback hands to him, coming from right to left, and Darlington shut that down after a short gain.
Jacob Hunt did a good job too, Eddie, just sliding down there and grabbing him before he could get running room. All right, 4 down lineman for Darlington. Hill under center. He's going to hand it on a speed sweep to his left wing back. He gets turned up inside, and help comes, and Tate Ratledge, Jacob Hunt, and let's see who else is in there on that tackle. Rhett McDermott was back there, and Carl Swiger. Loss of about a yard, and now it's going to be 3rd down for the Bowden Red Devils. 3rd down and about 10 and a quarter.
Well, the right side of our defense has looked pretty solid tonight, especially on the run, and the left side with Tate Ratledge over there looked very solid too.
All right,
Tate Ratledge and Elijah
formation.
Ball over there.
Yes, spread formation, and Hill's going to hand it off to a running back, and that is number 5, Ron Buchanan, and he kind of tripped over there and fell down, Eddie. loss of about 2, and now Bowden will have 4th down and long.
Well, part of the reason he tripped is because Darlington got penetration, which is the answer to any offense. If you get penetration off the line, you can't run much of anything. And Tate Ratledge and Elijah Ball had both penetrated over there, so he really just had it nowhere to go. Now they're lining up as if they're going to go for it.
All right, they bring a man in motion, and they're just going to let the clock run out. And that's the horn that sounds for the end of the first quarter. So Darlington, Bowden, first quarter, Bowden scores 9 points off of 2 Darlington turnovers, and they lead 9-0 going into the second quarter. We're going to send it back to WLAQ for a commercial break, and we'll be back for the second quarter. Don't go away. All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We're back here at Warren P. Sewell Field in Bowden, Georgia for tonight's Region 6A clash. Bowden and Darlington. Eddie, Darlington didn't look very sharp until about that last possession by Bowden, and then the defense really did look very, very good.
Well, they had looked good in the series before when they threw that long pass. They just had that one long pass that got away from them. As we said before, they were 2nd and 25, and Darlington let that man slip away.
All right, Hill in punt formation. The ball bounces back to him, and he's going to get it out. He's going to kick a line drive that's going to bounce about 20 yards. Tajay Wiley has to get out of the way, and Darlington will scrimmage from their own 20-yard line. And boy, that was just a good punt for Hill. That ball didn't get very high. It hit the ground, and by the time it hit the ground, the Bowden coverage was already there, and Tajay couldn't do anything with it.
Well, both times they have skirted disaster on their 2 punt plays they've had, and they barely got the punt off the first time, and then got down there and a Darlington man somehow touched it, and they recovered it there. And I guess Tajay didn't want to take any chance on take it. He'll just let it roll where it ends up at.
Gunn and Barnett out to the far side, handoff to Tajay Wiley. Tajay Wiley gets running room, and he's going to be out to about the 27-yard line, and that's a good play on first down, a gain of about 6.
That's some nice running by Tajay that time. He handed off going to his right. He was on the left side of the backfield, handed it off going to his right, and he made a cut back in there to come back towards our near side and picked up some extra yards. Looked like I had him stop, and he just made a nice cut.
Griffin Brewster getting the play as well as the rest of the players. In a shotgun formation, 2 wideouts to the far side, hands off to Tajay Wiley. Tajay Wiley breaks it 40, 45, and he's going to be out to midfield. And wow, Eddie, he hit that hole off guard, and he was out there so fast.
Well, it's good to see Tajay running like that. He counts on getting a lot of yards after contact, but I don't think he had any contact. That was the same play they ran before. He just hit the hole so fast. He was through the secondaries and by the linebackers before they even had time to look up and see where he was, and he was gone, and lucky to have that have a safety make the tackle on there to stop the touchdown.
Yeah, it looked like he ran between Daniel and Ball on that right side, and that ball bounces to Griffin Brewster, and Tajay falls on it, and that's going to be a loss of about 4 back to the 45-yard line, and the Tigers will face 2nd and 14.
Well, that's the second time we've seen a low snap bounce like that. They had no recourse but to fall on that ball.
Yeah, and you know, we've talked about this before. One play here, one play there that's negative, and it really puts you in a hole.
Right now, it's hard to stick to your run game when you're second down and 16.
All right, Darlington with 2 wide outs to the far side. Griffin Brewster in a shotgun. Extra men coming for Bowden. Griffin rolling to his right. Way over the head of his intended receiver. Very hard throw to make, Eddie, while he's running, but that ball went way over the head of Casey Gunn.
Well, he rolling to his right, and he just really wound up and looked like didn't get his arm up high enough. Looked like his arm was a little, elbow was low on that throw, and it just sailed on him over there.
All right, Bowden has a man come off with an equipment problem. Referees have set the clock to rolling. Griffin Brewster in a shotgun. 3 wideouts to the far side, 1 to the near side. Griffin Brewster looking downfield, standing in there, complete. Oh, no. Oh, no. Tajay Watley had the ball directly in his hands on a perfect throw from Griffin Brewster and dropped it at the 35-yard line of Bowden. Eddie, that would have been a first down and more.
Yes, it would have, but I don't know that it's a perfect throw. Looked like it was a little behind him. He should have caught it, but it wasn't. I don't think I'd call it right directly in his hands. It was thrown a little bit behind him, and he was streaking, trying to run before he caught the ball.
Tate Ratledge, punt formation, high end over end kick coming down to D.D. Cox at the 15, and he's going to be out to about the 31-yard line here on the near sideline. And, boy, he just caught that ball and took off, Eddie.
Well, he did. He's got some speed. As I said before, I think these guys up here were sandbagging me, talking about how slow that Bowden was, and he certainly looked like he had a burst of speed. Just not what we expected to see tonight out there. Darlington is really struggling on offense.
Yeah, and maybe the mistakes early on set the tone, but the Tigers just cannot get into any kind of offensive rhythm. So let's hope the defense can stop Bowden again and get the Tigers pretty decent field position. Nathan Hill under center. Double wing formation, 1 wide out to the far side. Wing back on this side goes in motion, rolling to his left, but Hill's got the ball. He's throwing the ball way downfield. You got a man wide open, and it's going to be a touchdown. And that is going to be a 69-yard touchdown pass to Kyle Franklin.
Yeah, just a post pattern right down the middle, and he just outran our coverage man out there, and he was behind him by 2 yards. Really he got so open and really not a hard throw. Just put it down there. Didn't have to throw a lot of arc in there and aim it. He just put it right there to him, and he was gone.
Bounds up 15-0 here with 9:29 to play here in the second quarter. And Kyle Franklin, who just caught that pass, he is going to line up to kick the extra point. And he kicks a very, very high pop fly, if you will. And
I don't believe I've ever seen a kick quite like that, Steve. It just seemed to go straight up. He's a straight-on kicker, and they often struggle with getting height on it, but he got height on that one. It looked like a pitching wedge to the green from about 80 yards out.
It did, and it is no good. But 15-0 is the score. 9:29 to play here in the first half. Bowden up over the Darlington Tigers, and we're going to send it back for a 30-second quick break and come back for Darlington's receipt of the kickoff. Just don't go away. We're back here at Warren P. Sewell Field. The Darlington fans are in shock. Bowden up 15-0. 2 long touchdown passes and an egregious mistake on a punt team error. And now Darlington has to fight their way back from this deficit. Noah Langley kicking for Bowden. It's going to be a a pooch kick. It's going to come down to a man at the 25, and he is going to have that ball running upfield into Bowden territory. Eddie, who is that? That's number 4, Colin Rogers. He did exactly what you need to do. He just took off straight up the field, had a seam, and almost broke it for a touchdown. And the Tigers will scrimmage from the 40 of the Red Devils.
Straight ahead. Looked like Scott Warner running the ball, how he used to take punts and run just straight upfield. Almost broke it. Close.
He almost broke it. He almost broke it. The Tigers need a spark. Let's see if the Darlington Tigers will do something with it. And Darlington again trailing 15-0. The damage done primarily on 2 long touchdown passes. 2 wideouts to the near side. Griffin Brewster in a shotgun, hands off to Tajay Watley. Tajay Watley gets racked as he gets inside the 40-yard line off the right side, Eddie. He's going to be down to the 36, a gain of 4.
Well, the key for Darlington right now is don't get behind those chains. There's a gain of 4 yards. Keep doing it. Let's don't have any more mistakes. No bad snaps. Bad snap killed that last drive. Let's make sure we get them, and we're always going forward. Even if it's only a yard, just don't get negative yardage.
All right, wide out to either side, and now timeout's being called by the Red Devils. So 8:51 to play here in the first half. Darlington trails by 15. We're going to send it back to WLAQ for a commercial break, and we'll be back for more football. Don't go away. Back here at Warren P. Sewell Field, if you're a Darlington fan, you're wondering. Darlington trails 15-0 after a couple of long passes and a terrible mistake on a punt return, which gave Bowden good field position, and they converted it into a field goal. But you know, Eddie, 15 points down, 8:51 to play here in the second quarter. No need to panic.
Well, it's certainly a whole lot left to go in this game, and if we can cut out the mistakes on offense, we can drive the ball. We just got to avoid those negative yardage plays that are self-inflicted.
Griffin Brewster in a shotgun, hands off to Tajay Wiley, coming to the near side. Tajay cuts it up field, and he's going to dive forward. Looks like he's going to have a first down. Let's see where they mark it. He's going to be close to it. And let's see. They're going to mark him just short. It'll be third down, Eddie. It looks like maybe a half a yard.
Inexplicable spot by the referee. He clearly was up to the 29-yard line, and he marked it back to almost the 31-yard line.
Power I formation for the Darlington Tigers. Griffin Brewster to Tajay Watley
stopped
at the
him.
Tail. They stopped him. Had penetration. And, you know, you're going to run that short yardage situation. You're going to have to keep the penetration out. Cooper Smith, the sophomore, Eddie, he just dove up underneath. And Darlington actually lost a half a yard. But I do agree with you on that one play. He was definitely over the 30-yard line when he hit the ground.
Yes. All right, now fourth down for Darlington. Got to go for it. Tajay is not the man, the hard-driving man up there.
Fourth down, 1. Darlington pitching. Tajay Wiley breaks. Tajay Wiley's going to have a touchdown. And he just did it on a quick pitch out of the Power I formation. 31-yard touchdown run by Tajay Wiley. And the Tigers get on the board with 7:31 to play here in the first half.
That was a tall, soft tackle by Tajay. And, of course, everybody for Bowden was up on the line, and they had at least 10 men on the line and only one person back, and Tajay had no problem eluding him. Just gone.
All right, Ian Payne is standing there. They're going to come back and actually kick it. Ian Payne will hold for Alex Little, the sophomore. And I'm looking to see who is snapping the ball. But anyway, here's the snap, the hold, the ball's down, it's up, it is going to be good. And now the Tigers trail by 8 with 7:31 to play here in the first half on a beautiful 31-yard run by Tajay Watley. Tigers have cut the lead from 15-0 to 15-7. We'll send it back to WLAQ for a quick 30-second break, and we'll come back for Darlington's kickoff to Bowden. Back here at Bowden, Alex Little teeing it up for the Tigers. He looks like he's going to keep it out of the hands of D.D. Cox, Eddie, by doing a pooch kick. As soon as the referee gives the official okie dokie, he will be set to kick this football. Getting everybody set, everybody's in place. Here we go, toe meets leather. It's going to be a higher kick, kind of a deep kick coming down to the 20, and Darlington's going to be called for offside. And the Tigers will have to kick the football again. A lot of mental mistakes here, Eddie.
Yep. Just no excuse. Somebody not paying attention. I didn't see who the offending player was, but now they're 5 yards further back to kick.
Sounds like somebody needs some grass drills, doesn't it?
I think so, or bear crawls.
All right, Little waiting to kick the ball as soon as the referee signals it. He's going to kick from the 35-yard line now. It's going to be a high end-over-end kick. It's going to come down to a man at about the 34. He's running in this direction sideways, and he cuts it back upfield, and that is number 12, Kyle Franklin. He caught one of the touchdown passes. And, Eddie, you just love it when your opponent runs sideways.
Yep. A shifty little runner, but it didn't avail him much, although Bowden gained that was a 5-yard penalty, but Bowden's about 20 yards further upfield than they were based on the distance of that first kick, which was called back for encroachment.
All right, Darlington has given up 2 long touchdown passes tonight, both 69 yards, and we're fortunate that Bowden's kicking game is not very effective. Hill under center. He's got this is the wing tee, and now there's going to be an illegal procedure penalty called against Bowden. And so they will be penalized from their 38 back to their 33. Let's see, they're going to get that ball marked. And actually just inside the 34-yard line, first down and 15. But, they made a couple of mistakes before, Eddie, and then threw a 69-yard touchdown pass, so we just have to be.
Yes, if I were Kevin Hunt, I'd be telling him, whatever you do, cover number 12, Kyle Franklin. Don't let him get behind you again.
All right, Hill's going to be in a shotgun formation. He's going to have 2 wideouts to this side. D.D. Cox is in the slot. Boy, he's really hurt Darlington already tonight. Darlington 4-down lineman. Hill rolling to his right, looking downfield, has a man who almost hit him. Incomplete. D.D. Cox had the ball go right off the tips of his hands, Eddie, or that would have been another big pass play for Darlington. For Bowden.
If he hung on to that, unless he tripped and fell, nobody was going to catch him. Tajay had coverage on him, but he was behind Tajay.
Yeah, and Hill made a good play sidestepping somebody. 7:14 to play in the first half. Darlington trailing by 7 points. Should be by 8. The scoreboard says 15-8. Now they make it 15-7, and that is correct. 2 wide outs to the far side wing tee. Well, it's not exactly a wing tee, but handoff on a draw play to the tailback. That was D.D. Cox, Eddie. He just stood there and waited and got the handoff, but nothing doing, so it's going to be 3rd down and about 15 for Bowden.
Looks like Elijah Ball's Jacob Hunt's a little slow getting up.
Yeah, Jacob Hunt shaking up a little bit on the play, and he's going to go off and take a breather. Looks like maybe he had the breath knocked out of him.
Is that Austin Rogers coming in for him, number 60.
Yeah, number 60 has come in, and that is Austin Rogers, the senior. So we've got Austin Rogers, Elijah Ball, Tate Ratledge across the line of scrimmage. 3 down linemen. Darlington going to be playing a 2 deep safety. 1 wide out to the near side. And they're going to have a man in the slot over here, and that is Kyle Franklin. He moves out a little more. We've got kind of a wing tee here. Hill rolls to his right. He is looking downfield. Again. He's going to have it almost intercepted by Roth Wilcox. Overthrew his intended receiver down here. Number 15, or excuse me, that's number 19, Tyler Lofton. And Bowden will punt the football.
Well, they send Kyle Rogers out on a flag pattern and a flag route, and that was right in Roth's hands. He's going to hate that when he watches the film.
Yeah, he really is. There. You know, that you have to take your opportunities. Hill, he's going to kick the ball. It's going to bounce, and Tajay trying to get out of the way of it. Almost picked that thing up. And they have a good punt plan, Eddie, for Darlington, because Hill is just waiting just enough to let his cover man get down there, and then he's kicking that ball not very high. It's end over end, but when it hits the ground, it is rolling.
Well, that was D.D. Cox down there with the coverage. That's probably the smoothest punt play they've had all night, and just nowhere, nothing for Tajay to do. He had to get away from that ball.
6:14 to play here in the first half. Darlington trailing 15-7. Stay tuned for the halftime report, Steak and Shake halftime report. And, we'll be talking a little bit about college football records that will never be broken. We did that last week. We'll continue that this week. Tajay Watley off the right side, Eddie, and he is going to have good yardage out to about the 32-yard line. That's going to be a gain of close to 6.
Well, that's Tajay off tackle, making a good run. Let's keep these positive yards. Just keep it positive. Don't make mistakes. Don't get a bad snap.
All right, and that actually a gain of about 7. It's out to about the 32-yard line of the Darlington Tigers. 5:44 to play here in the first half. Darlington trailing 15-7. Tigers have looked a little sloppy here. First half. Especially in the first quarter, things have settled down a little bit. Griffin Brewster in a shotgun, 2 wide outs to this side, 1 to the near side. That's incomplete. Eddie D.D. Cox read that. A little screen, quick little pop pass to Tajay Watley, and it's good that Griffin threw it behind him. That might have been intercepted.
Well, I think they're going to call that a backward. Yes, they are. They're going to call that a backward pass.
Well, they're going to call it a lateral, which means it's going to be a loss of about 6 for Darlington. And here we go again with exactly what you were saying, that you want to keep the positive plays, keep those chains moving. Now the Tigers are going to have a 3rd down and about 9.
Well, we haven't been very effective in the passing game tonight, so we're in an obvious passing situation. He's got Carl Swiger back there behind him.
3 wide outs to the far side. Griffin Brewster looking to his left, then he looks to his right. He's going to throw the ball incomplete. And let's see.
We've got holding on Darlington.
Yeah, I think we do too. Incomplete by Griffin Brewster. A holding call against Darlington. That will be turned down, and the Tigers will be forced to punt. So here on this particular sequence, Eddie, had a nice run by Tajay to set Darlington up in a 3rd and about 3. Then a backwards lateral that went out of bounds that lost that yardage, and then a holding penalty on an incomplete pass.
Well, you're right. D.D. Cox read that. That was a pop pass out there, and he read it and was all over it. Like you say, if it hadn't been a backwards pass, he may have intercepted it and walked into the end zone.
All right, illegal procedure on Darlington. This will make it 4th down and 14 for the Tigers. Tate Ratledge, he's in punt formation. So just not a very, very sharp game tonight for the Darlington Tigers.
Yes, and I would aim this away from their punt returner, that D.D. Cox back there. It's going to go right to
okay,
it.
and that ball's going to bounce, and it's going to roll. So Darlington will flip the field a little bit. Eddie, ball's going to roll to the 31-yard line, and Tate Ratledge got a good roll on that punt, and that's going to get Darlington out of that hole.
I'm surprised D.D. Cox didn't come up and play that ball. He had plenty of time to come up there, and he let it bounce in front of him, and it just took a good roll for Darlington and added 16 or 17 yards after it hit the ground.
5:08 to play here in the first half. Darlington trails by 8, 15-7. If you're just joining us, very sloppy game for the Tigers, especially in the first quarter. Hill under center. He hands the ball off to his fullback, and not very good tackling by Darlington. Horrible tackling. Zaylen Wood was stopped after a gain of about 3. He kept his legs moving, and he got out to a first down, yardage around the 42, Eddie.
Cade Brock was holding on for dear life. He just a lot of power there. He's a big man. Darlington doesn't have that kind of power running to go up the middle like that, but he's impressive, and he's got good speed.
Nathan Hill, and he's still at quarterback for Bowden, and now they're in that little double wing with one wide out. Darlington with 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers up. Hill reads that, and on an option tries to come out to the right side. And Darlington will have none of it as number 55, Cade Brock, the sophomore, drops him.
I don't think that was actually an option. I think that was just a fake and keep it all the way. I don't think he had time to read anybody. It happened so fast. But good idea, just Darlington didn't fall for it.
2nd down and 9. Ball resting at the 42.5-yard line on the near hash mark. 4 minutes to play in the first half. Tigers trailing 15-7 if you're just joining us. One wide out to the far side. Double wing formation. Darlington 4 down lineman. Man in motion. D.D. Cox right to left. Quick sweep. And nobody can get to him. He is going to have some yardage on the far side. And knocked out of bounds short of the first down, Eddie. But he cleared that side and got out on the sideline before he was knocked out of bounds.
Has some good speed out there. Going to be about 4 yards short on 3rd down here. And I'm sure unless they get a big negative on this, they're going to go for it on 4th down too, I think.
3rd down and 4. Ball at the 49-yard line of Bowden. The line to make is the Darlington 47. Man comes out wide to this side. Ball on the far hash mark. Hill under center. Man in motion. Left to right, and hands off to his fullback. And that is number 5, Cameron Buchanan. Nice burst off the left side, Eddie. He's got a first down.
Just a straight dive play, and nice hard running.
Bowden on the march again. 3:23 to play here in the first half. 1st and 10 for the Red Devils at the 45-yard line of the Tigers. Darlington trails 15-7. Hill under center. He's just going to run a quick quarterback keeper right up the middle of the gut, and he's going to have a gain of about 3. Let's see where they mark it. Make it about 2, so it'll be 2nd down and about 8.
Well, just a straight quarterback sneak. I like the way this offensive coordinator for Bowden calls plays. That was a good time to try that. Didn't pick up a lot, but positive yardage. That's all they need to do is keep getting positive yardage. They'll go for it on 4th down.
And not only is it positive yardage, it just keeps you a little off balance.
Yes.
All right, Hill under center. Darlington trying to stop Bowden right here. Man in motion left, right. D.D. Cox trying to get to the sideline. And, boy, that was a great play out here by Tommy Atha, Eddie. He stood his ground and upended Cox, made him turn inside, got help, and gain of about 1, and now Bowden will have a 3rd and about 7.
That was a nice play. just a sweep out there, and to D.D. Cox and Tommy right there, and Jacob Hunt coming in to help him finish it up.
2-minute mark of the first half. Darlington trailing 15-7. And I believe that Bowden is going to let the play clock run down, and then they will call their final timeout of the first half. Stay with us for the Steak and Shake halftime report coming up at halftime tonight, sponsored by Steak and Shake in Rome, Georgia on Turner McCall. Timeout on the field. We're going to send it back to WLAQ for a quick commercial break, and we'll come back for the third down play for Bowden. Bowden leads 15-7. Don't go away. We're back here at Warren Sewell Field. Bowden on the third down and about 7. Tigers really need to stop the Red Devils here.
And the Red Devils, for their part, they really need to be close enough to go for this on fourth down or to get the first down here. I like the way Robert Andrews has managed the game as a coach so far, and I'm sure they're talking about running as much time off this clock to not give Darlington much time when they go back out there.
Absolutely. Tigers have 3 timeouts left, so a nice amount of time would help. Hill under center, man in motion left to right. It's a draw play. D.D. Cox, he got away. Roth Wilcox is trying to get him, and he is going to pull him down.
I think he's short of the first down, but he's real close to it.
He is short of the first down, and Darlington had him again, Eddie. The man slipped away from a tackle, and he's going to be out where he's got a manageable fourth down if they want to go for it.
Well, minute 16 and counting to go. They can punt if they need to, and they won't give Darlington much time. But I don't know. Nathan Hill's running in, and he doesn't look like he's intending to punt the ball, does he?
No, he doesn't, and it's fourth down and about 2.5.
I bet they're going to give it to that big fullback back there again.
Man in motion left and right, trying to draw Darlington offside, and let's see, maybe they are going to take a penalty here because they don't have any more timeouts yet. Delay of game, 43 seconds to play here in the first half. Darlington trailing 15-7. Now, Eddie, now it looks like they will punt and try to pin Darlington deep with very little time left.
Yes, like I say, I like the way Andrews is managing the game. He's trying to get in the halftime of the lead and not give Darlington time to do anything and make it too risky for them to really try anything.
All right, Hill is going to punt the ball. It's going to be angled toward the sidelines here, and it's going to bounce and roll dead at about the 20-yard line with 32 seconds left here in the first half. The Tigers with 3 timeouts, but 80 yards away and not much time. The Tigers do get the ball to start the second half.
Yes, I look for them to give it to Ty J, maybe on a sweep, something out wide, and see if he can get something going. Then if he does, then Darlington still has all 3 of their timeouts, so they have plenty of timeouts if they get something going. But I think it's going to be dictated by what happens here on first down. And let's look for Ty J out something out wide.
All right, Griffin Brewster in a shotgun formation, 2 wide outs to the far side. Bowden bringing extra men up, handoff to Tajay Watley, straight up the middle. Tajay Watley with running room, and he's going to be out to about the 33-yard line. Timeout to move the chains. Oh, Darlington has called a timeout.
Well, they've got plenty, and they don't have that much time left. That's a good move.
24 seconds left as we approach halftime. Remember, stay tuned for the Steak and Shake halftime report. Darlington sponsor, Steak and Shake. in downtown or in Rome, Georgia on Turner McCall Boulevard. And then tonight, stay tuned at the end of the game for the Steak and Shake post-game report, as well as the Honeymoon Bakery icing on the cake player of the game, sponsored by the Honeymoon Bakery, downtown Rome, Georgia on Broad Street. And Eddie, you know, you take a look at how Darlington has played in the first half. On one level, you're thankful you're just down by 8.
Well, just about every strange mistake that Darlington could make, they've made in here. And I think I feel fortunate they're only down by 8 right now. Could have been a lot worse.
All right, Darlington trailing by 8, scores 15-7, 25 seconds left here in the first half. Darlington still has 2 timeouts left. The ball is on the 33-yard line of the Darlington Tigers. 2 wideouts to the near side with Tajay Watley in the slot. 2 wideouts to the far side, Griffin Brewster in a shotgun. And he's going to hand it to Carl Swiger. Carl Swiger with running room. Carl Swiger gets across the 45-yard line, and the clock will stop for moving the chains. And Darlington, let's see, did they call a timeout, Eddie?
Can't see. It doesn't look like they called timeout. I don't know why they wouldn't. There's 16.9. Yeah, now they called timeout.
All right, Darlington has used its second timeout. So timeout on the field. We're going to send it back to WLAQ for a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back for the last 17 seconds of this half. Back here at Warren P. Sewell Field at Bowden High School, Darlington trailing 15-7. And Eddie, you got 1 timeout left. The ball is resting on the 47-yard line of the Tigers. Well, so you got to do something to get a big chunk of yards at one time.
I expect this is the time Darlington may try to strike deep. Of course, Bowden is expected. They've got got 3 deep guys back there, and they're bringing their linebackers out to cover that. But Darlington's kind of forced. They've got some yardage. They're not backed up in their own.
All right, Griffin Brewster, incomplete pass. They were trying to set up a screen over on the right side, and one of the Bowden players knocked the ball out of the air.
Well, I guess Darlington's linemen forgot you got to chip them as they go by. You can't just let them go completely by on there. Looked like they might have had something working out there.
All right, second down and 10, 13 seconds left to play here in the half. If the Tigers are going to score, they got to score on one play or get it deep enough to give Little a chance for a field goal. Extra men coming again. The ball is deflected by a lineman. Well, 9 seconds left now.
They only rushed 4 men. They had 3 down linemen, but they sent a linebacker in there helping rush, and he just came through untouched, and Griffin just barely got it off, and the linebacker out there for Bowden was not fooled on that screen. They tried another screen pass, and he was just there, and lucky that wasn't intercepted.
All right, 9 seconds left. Third down and 10 for Darlington at their own 47-yard line. Brewster, he's going to hand it to Tajay Wiley. Tajay right through the middle of the field, and he gets tripped up with 3.8 seconds left. And Eddie, if he doesn't get tripped, he has a touchdown.
He sure does. He just broke through clean, didn't he? Just right through the line, through the linebackers back there before anybody, and one man got a hand on his ankle out there on the 40-yard line and brought him down. I thought he might step around him, but that was a good play by the Bowden player. But interesting play. Everybody looking for pass, give it to Tajay, let him break through that line.
You know, and timeout on the field, Darlington with 3.8 seconds left. You know, Eddie, it's just been a game of interest tonight here in the first half. Bowden with 2 great long touchdown passes, and then getting that turnover on that punt return that Darlington inexplicably stood close up to, that it touched the Darlington player.
It was too far for me to see exactly what happened, but maybe he had his back turned and just didn't see it. It happens sometimes on punt coverage, but I didn't have a good view of that. But now 3.8 seconds. I don't know what you're thinking. Maybe a wraparound draw.
Yeah, 1st and 10 at the 40. You got to get it all at one time.
Well, he's got Carl back there with him in the backfield, so I suspect they're going to try to throw it to Tajay.
Yeah, Tajay is the wide out on the near side. He moves in a little bit. Griffin Brewster in a shotgun, 3 deep safeties. Griffin Brewster looking downfield. He's going to throw the ball. Intercepted by D.D. Cox. It is a interception, but that is by Ben Fortson. He runs it back out to the 42-yard line where he's dropped, and that is going to be, now there's a flag down. Let's see what the flag is.
I think they called holding or a block in the back on Bowden.
It should be the last play of the first half. Griffin just threw it downfield. Illegal block in the back being called against Bowden, and I'm sure that will end the half. Let's see. And if Coach Atha refuses that penalty, of course, that would end the half, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Well, we're waiting for the referees to tell us exactly what they're going to do. Bowden intercepted the pass. Fortson intercepted the pass on the last play of the first half. Then there's a block in the back penalty that is called on Bowden. It is after the change of possession. And so that is the end of the half. So the Tigers have apparently refused it. That is the end of the half. So the first half at Warren P. Sewell Field, home of the Bowden Red Devils, ends with Darlington trailing 15-7. And we're going to send it back to WLAQ for some commercial messages, and then we'll come back to talk about the first half on the Steak and Shake halftime report. here for the Steak and Shake halftime report at Warren P. Sewell Field in Bowden. Not very good news if you're a Darlington fan. The Tigers trail 15-7. And looking at the stat sheet here, not a very, very pretty stat sheet for the Darlington Tigers if you are looking at it. Let's go to those stats to talk about that for just a moment. Darlington with 6 possessions of the night, Bowden with 7. Tigers have rushed the ball 16 times, 0 for 8 in passing, and that is probably the big story from the Darlington offensive side, is that the Darlington passing game has not produced anything tonight like it did last week. 5 first downs for the Tigers, 2 punts. Tigers have been sacked once, 2 fumbles with 1 lost fumble for the Darlington Tigers, and Darlington has thrown 2 interceptions tonight here at Bowden. The Tigers have 3 penalties for 16 yards and have just looked pretty sloppy, unfortunately, tonight. Bowden, 7 possessions for the evening, 19 rushes, 2 for 7 passing. The number of completions doesn't tell the whole story, though, because both of them were 69-yard touchdown passes from Hill, 1 to Fordson, 1 to Franklin. And that has contributed to Bowden being up 15-7. Bowden has 4 first downs compared to Darlington's 5. 3 punts for the Red Devils. They have 1 sack. They have not turned the ball over tonight, and they have just really taken care of Darlington, and the Tigers have been very sloppy at times. The scoring has gone like this: 17-yard field goal by Franklin, and Bowden went up 3-0, but that field goal was set up by a miscue on the Darlington punt return team. Not exactly sure what happened. The ball was rolling around. Several Bowden men were around it. A Darlington player got too close to the ball, touched the ball. Bowden recovered at the 19-yard line of the Darlington Tigers. The Darlington defense allowed 1 first down, then stood up and forced Bowden to kick a field goal, and Bowden was up 3-0. Then Griffin Brewster threw an interception, and then Nathan Hill, the senior quarterback for the Bowden Red Devils, threw a 69-yard touchdown pass to Ben Fordson, and the point after was no good, and Bowden was then up 9-0, and that was the score at the end of the first quarter. Then in the second quarter, Hill strikes again, this time to Franklin. Kyle Franklin, and he had a 69-yard touchdown pass. The point after was no good, and Bowden was up 15-0. Then Darlington came back on a 31-yard touchdown run by Tajay Watley on a 4th and short. Little put up the point, and the Tigers trailed 15-7. It has not been a pretty sight if you're a Darlington fan. Strange things have gone on, and of course the turnovers, and just generally sloppy play by the Darlington Tigers. I'm sure that in the halftime, in the locker room at halftime, Tommy Atha and Coach Hunt will be having some adjustments that they'll be making for the Darlington Tigers. The Tigers will receive the football to start the second half of tonight's football game. Darlington and Bowden both trying to get a region victory to keep going forward. Darlington 1-0 in the region will be hosting Mount Zion of Carroll County next week. The Tigers really need to come out and play a good second half to get this victory here and keep pace with Mount Zion, and Bowden would like to get on the winning track. Halftime continues here at Bowden, and we're going to send it back to WLAQ for some commercial messages, and then come back and continue our discussion that we started last week on college football records that will probably never be broken. Always good to have a little bit of trivia, and these are some really interesting things that we have to discuss if you're a college football fan. So don't go away, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back after these messages. All right, back here at Warren P. Sewell Field, and Bowden and Darlington trailing 15-7. Steak and Shake halftime report coming to you. Eddie, last week we were talking about college football records that will never be broken, and we did talk about the 41-game winning streak by Oklahoma, and that will probably never be broken. But the longest losing streak, 80-game losing streak from Prairie View A&M from 1989 to 1998, and that is probably a streak that will never be broken.
Let's hope not. I remember when they finally did break that streak. I know there was a lot of rejoicing at Prairie View.
Well, you know, when you get onto a losing streak, it can really be tough to break that streak. Here's an interesting one too. In 1995, Nebraska allowed 0 sacks in the entire season.
Probably they didn't throw any passes, if I recall, Nebraska that time.
Well, they certainly did not throw very many passes. Do you see one on here that you're interested in?
Well, of course, the one that always makes me the most bitter is Georgia Tech beating poor Cumberland College 222-0. I long for the day when Tech gets beat 223-0. I also like this most interceptions thrown in a game by a Florida quarterback, John Reeves, versus Auburn in 1969.
Yeah, John Reeves died not long ago, and but that nine interceptions in a game, I say that will never be broken. But the 222-0 score, that's one of those things that Cumberland College had canceled their football game, or they had canceled their football program in 1916. John Heisman insisted that they play that football game, or Cumberland College would have to pay a huge amount of money to Georgia Tech. So they just got a few players together, not even their full football team, and they were able to field a team, but they lost 222-0.
Well, I don't think anybody's surprised that Tech would do something like that.
All right, now here's.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, here is one that Eddie. This is an interesting thing. 14 straight top 5 rankings. Florida State from 1987 to 2000 finished in the top 5 14 straight times.
And then they forced Bobby Bowden out after he had done that. They were nothing until Bobby Bowden came along. He put them on the map, built the stadium, built all those fine facilities that they have there, and they couldn't give him another year.
Yeah. Here's an interesting one too. We talk about offensive production. In 1996, Corey Dillon, the quarterback for Washington, had 305 total yards in the quarter.
Yeah, Washington just used to light it up. That was I'm trying to remember the name of the coach, Don.
Don James.
Don James, yes. And some truly amazing offenses. Of course, they don't play much defense in the Pac-10, but still some amazing scores run up by them.
All right, here we are at halftime again. We're going through college football records that will never be broken. We talked about the 80-game losing streak of Prairie View A&M, and then the 47-game winning streak of Oklahoma. But here's another winning streak that will probably never be broken. From 1985 to 1994, the University of Miami Hurricanes did not lose one home game. They had a 58-game home winning streak.
Well, they were, quite amazing. I remember those years well, and I'm not a Miami fan. Matter of fact, I dislike Miami a lot, but they were pretty good then.
And for local fans, Alabama fans will remember this. Derek Thomas in 1988 had 27 sacks in the season. Went on to a prolific pro career as well, Derek Thomas.
Steve, one of the records, this is not a college record, but I think the most unbreakable record that's probably out there at any level of football is the 156-game winning streak that De La Salle out in California had. They went for years, I think from 1990 until I believe it was 2014, didn't lose a game.
And you not only had that long winning streak by De La Salle, just imagine 156 games. you could have started school at De La Salle as a first grader and graduated from high school and your team never lost a game, to just kind of put it in perspective.
That was one of the things the players said, that they didn't want to be the ones who lost the streak. And there was a lot of pressure from the alums, and you had just year after year of guys who'd played all 4 years and never lost a game.
Yeah, it was an amazing streak. You try to get your brain around something like that. And the thing is that De La Salle never had the best athletes. It wasn't just an athletic powerhouse, but if you watched any of the films of that team or read some of the things about them, they just had great coaching, but they also were very fundamentally sound and executed very well.
Fundamentally sound, mistake-free. You watch them, you just watch their line up, and there was something different. They were so in sync with each other that they just looked different, just warming up. Just when they snapped the ball, the line all came off hard at the same time, no weak links. Just it was an amazing thing to watch them. I was a big fan of De La Salle and their winning streak and their coach.
Yeah, you know, Bob Ladiseur, and I'm trying. This is from memory. I may have had this wrong, but he coached there for 34 years and had 398 victories, but only lost 34 games in a 34-year period.
Well, you win 156 straight, you can really bump your record up fast, can't you?
All right, here's an interesting statistic. Of course, this was way, way back when scoring was different, but in 1901, Michigan's defense did not allow a single point. That is an amazing statistic.
That's an amazing statistic. I can't remember much about that year. I'm sorry, I can't throw in much for you on that.
But you know, it's great when you go back and you look at a lot of the different things that have happened in football. If you're a football fan, some of these things are really just amazing when you look at them. And here's one final one we'll give you before we go back to WLAQ for a commercial break. But in 1939, Texas Tech's offense obviously was not very effective in this particular game. They had a total of 1,318 punting yards. Just imagine, you're talking about the length of 13 football fields in one game. Now that's a hard one to break.
Yes, total yardage would have been high. I'm guessing his average per punt might have suffered. His leg had to be worn out by the end of that game.
All right, something to laugh about up here at Bowden. Darlington trails 15-7. The Tigers will get the ball to start the second half, and halftime winding down here at the Steak and Shake halftime report. We're going to send it back to WLAQ for a commercial break, and we will come back for Darlington's receipt of the second half kickoff. Don't go away, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back. Noah Langley. Toe meets leather. It's going to be a a short end-over-end kick. It's going to come down to a man at about the 37-yard line, and he brings that close to the 40-yard line. Pooch kick, Eddie. Darlington gets good field position to begin the second half.
Well covered, and I think those pooch kicks are a wise move, unless you've got a guy that can kick them into the end zone, because it's hard to pick up much yardage on there. That Darlington may end up on the 40, but that's better than, from Bowden's standpoint, that's better than letting Tajay run a touchdown on them.
Beginning of the second half here in Bowden, Darlington trailing 15-7, inconsistent on offense in the first half. 3 wide outs to the near side, 1 to the far side. Griffin Brewster fakes it to Tajay Wiley. Griffin Brewster to the far sideline, and he's got good running room, Eddie, out to the 48-yard line of the Red Devils. First time we've seen that play tonight.
Well, that's a nice play call. Everybody, Bowden is really keying on Tajay, and they fake the handoff to him, and Griffin just keeps it. Everybody was coming to the near side to us, chasing down Tajay, and Griffin took off running the other side. Nice first down play. Keep those chains moving, keep the yards positive.
1st and 10 for the Tigers at the 47.5-yard line of the Red Devils. Griffin Brewster hands it to Tajay Wiley, far side. Tajay Wiley up the far sideline, and he's finally knocked out of bounds, but not until he gets a first down, Eddie. Just a very quick run, and Darlington looks like they have a lot more energy here in the second half than the first half.
Well, it looked like they've come out to establish something. Of course, the beginning of the third quarter is one of the most important times in the game. It's a chance to make up ground, or it's a chance to, well, we've got a penalty.
All right, and there's going to be a penalty against Darlington that will negate that run. Did you see what it was? I didn't see the referee.
No, they moved it back 10 yards, so I guess it was holding.
Yeah, holding penalty. Holding penalty, first down and 20. Well, actually, it's not 20. It's about 17. The ball's at the 45-yard line of Darlington. Griffin Brewster changing the play. 2 wide outs to this side, 2 to the far side. Griffin Brewster looking downfield. Complete to Jacob Hunt. And it's going to be a first down. And, wow, what a great throw and a great catch by Jacob. And it's always great to have somebody who's as tall as Tinkerbell, Eddie.
Well, that was, and he went up there and got that, made just a nice, spectacular catch by him. And Griffin Brewster put it probably the only place that the ball wouldn't have been knocked away. Darlington quickly back to the line now.
1st and 10 at the 27 of Bowden. And fake to Tajay Wiley. Griffin Brewster, 20, 15, 10, 5, and he is going to be in there for a touchdown. Oh, did he step out of bounds? They're going to mark him out of bounds. He rolled over the pylon, and Darlington is going to.
Well, they're bringing. I think they're going to bring it back here. Tommy Atha has just exploded over there on the sideline. I saw his hat hit the ground. I'm not sure what the call is, but.
Well, they're going to bring it back. Griffin Brewster on a great fake to Tajay kept the ball. Second big play for Darlington to be called back here in the first half. Well, they're going to put it right back where it was. Are they saying that the ball hadn't been set, Eddie?
I don't know. They did the head ref never did signal.
I've never seen that.
10, they're just replaying the down.
I've never seen that again. Odd things down in Bowden, and the handoff to Tajay Wiley, who is just stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Actually going to be a loss of about 1. And
it's interesting. I could hear the PA announcer on that play before when Griffin kept the ball and was running out here to the left. He was saying he's running to the left, imploring Bowden to get on that man, but I guess they knew more than the PA man did.
All right, 2nd down and 11. Ooh, that was odd. Hurt Darlington. Tajay Wiley, fake on a speed sweep. Griffin Brewster running to his left. Griffin Brewster he is about to be sacked and just flips the ball over to a receiver, incomplete. But boy, Darlington looked like they'd have a 1st and goal at the 1, and the ball was brought back and put back down exactly where it was snapped from. No explanation to us. I'm sure Tommy Atha got an explanation, Eddie, but boy, he was furious. 3rd and 11.
Well, Darlington has gotten behind the chains again.
2 wideouts to either side. Griffin Brewster, low snap. He's going to throw the ball complete on a screen pass. Carl Swiger is going to be down inside the 20-yard line, and Darlington will be left now with a 4th down and a short, maybe 2.5, 3. Let's see where they mark it. It's going to be a 4th down and about 3.
Darlington going for it.
9 minutes to play here in the 3rd quarter. Darlington trailing 15-7. Strange goings on down here. Griffin Brewster in the shotgun. Blitz by Bowden. Incomplete to Casey Gunn. Griffin threw the ball behind him, and the Tigers will turn the ball over on downs. Well, Eddie, I don't think until after the game and somebody has a chance to talk to Tommy Atha that we'll have any idea what happened on that play.
The only thing I can guess is that Darlington snapped it before the ready for play signal, and
that's just strange credulity that could happen when you're getting the play from the sideline.
It's always like being in Bizarro world when we come down here to Bowden.
8:52 to play here in the 3rd quarter. Darlington trails 15-7, turns the ball over on downs. Bowden comes out for their first possession of the 2nd half. Nathan Hill, he will be in a shotgun formation. Only 2 for 7 in the 1st half, but both of them were long touchdown passes. Man in motion. Here's a quick screen out here, complete. And he's going to be knocked out of bounds. And when he gets to about the 27-yard line, Bowden will have a 2nd down after a gain of about 8. They'll have a 2nd down and 2.
Well, that was just a swing pass out to him, and he had 2 wide receivers over here sort of making a screen, at least taking those receivers down there and just use his speed to get out wide.
8:25 and counting. Darlington trails 15-7. Bowden stops the Tigers on 4th down and about 4 to take over on downs. Hill with the wing tee. He's under center, hands it to his left halfback. That's D.D. Cox, and he is going to be run out of bounds at about the 37-yard line.
Well, they faked to the dive and gave it to D.D. Cox coming out here to our near side. Just used his speed off tackle, and Darlington runs him down, but not till after he's gotten a 1st down.
1st and 10 for the Red Devils. Tigers need a stop so that they can then get the ball in fairly decent field position. Red Devils up by 8 here in the 3rd quarter. The wing T formation, wide out to the far side, hand off to the left halfback, and D.D. Cox is running into the middle of the field, and he is swarmed under by several Darlington jerseys, led by Rhett McDermott.
Counterplay from Bowden that time. They're doing a good job of keeping Darlington guessing here and just seem to keep surprising them with what they did, but Darlington covered that one well.
2nd down and about 10. No gain on that particular play. Clock running, 7:33 to play here in the 3rd quarter. Darlington trailing by 8 if you're just joining us. Wing T formation, wide out to the far side. Darlington 4 down linemen, and it's going to be the quarterback keeping the ball, and he is going to be stopped at about the 37. One of his linemen, and he picked him up and was going to try to carry him forward. The referee did blow the play dead.
Rhett McDermott came in. He kind of stood up there for a minute on that quarterback keeper, and Rhett McDermott came in and just laid a lick on him and stopped all his forward progress.
3rd down and about 9 for Bowden. The ball is on the 38-yard line. The line to make is the 47-yard line of the Red Devils.
Big play right here.
It really is. Hill under center. It's going to be the double wing formation wide out to the far side. Man in motion, goes right to left, fakes it. Hill back to throw, and he's going to be sacked.
Great play.
Whoa.
They just everybody back in there that time. Oh.
Sure was. I don't know what happened then. A flag comes flying in. Darlington had a man jump up. You suppose they're going to call unsportsmanlike conduct on Darlington for celebrating?
Well, he was pointing at the Bowden players. I'm not sure.
Boy, Nathan Hill had to be held. I'm not exactly sure what happened. That flag came flying in so fast after the sack.
I was watching the play back there, and I didn't see anything untoward from either team.
Personal foul
on Bowden. Well, that's a dead ball, so that'll back them up 15 yards and be fourth down.
Well, Darlington got a great push, and Hill was under pressure from the moment he looked up. And several of Darlington's linemen, they were all back there together.
Tate Radledge and Elijah Ball and Jacob Hunt all met at the quarterback that time. He just never had a chance.
Yeah, and don't forget number 55, Cade Brock. Looked like they had invited each other to a meeting. And that's going to be a sack, and then it's going to be a 15-yard penalty against Bowden. And now the Red Devils will have to punt.
Well, this is the first break of the game for Darlington. They should end up with good field position.
Hill back to punt. He's going to kick it high. Comes down. It's going to bounce sideways. Nice Darlington bounce.
Right on the 40.
Right on the 40-yard line of Bowden. But, boy, Eddie, we still have too many guys hanging around that ball when it's rolling around.
Well, they're facing forward trying to block, and it backed up like a sand wedge on the 18th hole and just was coming our way.
All right, 1st and 10 for the Tigers. 6:14 to play in the third quarter. Darlington starting from the 40-yard line of the Red Devils on this possession. Tigers need to move the ball down for a touchdown. Griffin Brewster handoff to Tajay, trying to get to the far sideline. He's going to gain a couple of yards, and now there's another scrap going on the far side. One of Darlington's players, Eddie, was just flipped over by a Bowden player after the whistle blew.
Did they throw a flag? I didn't see
There
a
is
flag.
a flag on the ground, but I don't know if that's what they're going to call. Let's see. We're going to get the signal, illegal procedure against Darlington. What an oddity. I mean, it may have been illegal procedure against Darlington, but the Bowden player that threw the Darlington player and upended him did not have anything called against him. 6:06 to play here in the third quarter. 1st and 15 for Darlington. The ball is at the 45-yard line. The line to make is the 30. The Tigers continue to make mental mistakes here. One wide out to the far side. One to the near side. Griffin Brewster hands off to Tajay Watley. Tajay Watley cutting it up off tackle on the far side for a gain of about 5. And it'll be 2nd and 10, Eddie.
Yeah, I think it's going to be closer to 2nd and 9. So get some of it back. That's a good play. Let's keep moving the ball forward. 5 yards, 2 more times, and we'll be first down. Don't panic.
And it will be 2nd and 9. The ball is on the 39-yard line. Clock runs down to 5:30 here in the third quarter. Third quarter running rather quickly. Wide out to either side with the man in the slot on this side. Hands off to Tajay Watley. Tajay Watley just bursts into the secondary, and he's going to be down to the 26-yard line of the Bowden Red Devils. And, Eddie, right now, Tajay just looks like somebody who's just gotten angry.
Yes. Yes, we just need to keep feeding him the ball. Let's just keep getting positive yards.
And Tajay Watley gets knocked backwards before he gets to the line of scrimmage on that 1st and 10. Bowden sent a bunch of people, Eddie. It's just hard to block that many.
Yeah, Bowden had called a blitz. Nice call they were just sitting on that. And now it's second and 11. Let's just get half of it right here, and then let's get a manageable 3rd down.
4:44 play, clock ticking down. 2nd and 11 for Darlington. Griffin Brewster back to throw. He's looking downfield. He's going to throw the ball high, incomplete. And now I believe that Bowden is going to be called for a personal foul. Late hit. That ball was way out of the hands of Casey Gunn, Eddie, and he was really knocked. Did they have a targeting penalty in high school?
No. They do have a personal foul.
Well, that'll be a 15-yard penalty against Bowden and a 1st down on a yardage count. Remember, in high school football, there's no automatic 1st down on a personal foul like there is in college and the pros. But this will put the ball inside the 15-yard line. And Robert Andrews is speaking to the official about it. His appeal will go to no avail. But that ball was way out over the head of Casey Gunn and way past him when he got hit over on the far sideline. 2 wideouts to either side. Griffin Brewster back to throw. Pump fakes. Looks, he's going to throw to the end zone. Touchdown, Darlington. Who was that? Was that Casey Gunn? Eddie, he was on the outside down there.
Can't see the number yet. That was a great catch down there on a post pattern.
15-yard
pattern, a flag route.
Yeah, flag route. 15-yard touchdown pass. I believe that was to Casey Gunn. But, boy, he whipped that ball down there.
Was it to Ian Payne? I thought that was number 5.
So, Ian Payne?
See, I think that was Ian Payne.
All right, Ian Payne. Griffin Brewster to Ian Payne. The Tigers look like they're going to go for 2. 15-13 is the score. Bowden ahead by 2. Tigers trying to get that deuce so that they can tie the score here on a 2-point conversion with 4:20 to play here in the 3rd quarter. 2 wideouts to the far side. Griffin Brewster in a shotgun, and now the Red Devils will spend one of their timeouts. And the referees on this side, he's running out on the field to have a conference with the referee. And the coach for Bowden, I believe, is going to be called for a penalty, Eddie. Boy, Robert Andrews has gotten out on the field, and he has yelled at the referee. It's a timeout, but it does appear like there's going to be a penalty called against the Bowden bench. The referee down here in the corner did throw a flag. And Robert Andrews is having a discussion with the referee. Looks like a lecture.
Yes. He was very unhappy, acted as if he didn't want a timeout called.
Boy, I'm not sure exactly what's going on. And he is still yelling at the referees. It's a sideline warning against Bowden. But, Eddie, it does look like they've taken a timeout off the board. Bowden had already called a timeout, hadn't
the
they?
referee clearly signaled a timeout Bowden.
Now they've put the timeout back on the board. And
strange going on in the city of Bowden here in West Georgia.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have talked about this before, but unusual things sometimes happen down here This is a heated rivalry, and both teams want to win this game to have another region victory. Griffin Brewster, shotgun formation, rolling to his right, and he's being chased. Griffin Brewster diving!
No, they
no
say
good.
No. Wow.
No good. I thought he would get it, Eddie. And Darlington has been turned back on the two-point conversion, and the Tigers still trail 15-13. So, with timeout on the field, we're going to send it back to WLAQ for a 30-second break and come back for Darlington's kickoff to Bowden. Don't go away. We got a barn burner down here in Bowden. Back here at Warren Sewell Field, unusual things going on, and we are going to have Darlington kick off. Little is going to kick off to Bowden High, end over end, pooch kick. It bounces on the ground. Darlington's diving for it, and I believe that Darlington did recover it, Eddie. Let's see.
Never count on that.
Let's
Bowden
see. No,
like
Bowden recovered it. Wow, that ball bounced around, and Bowden came up with it. Whew. 4:20 here to play in the football game. A real great battle going on between the Bowden Red Devils and the Darlington Tigers. Darlington trails 15-13.
Well, there is no part of this game that hasn't been a struggle tonight for Darlington and for Bowden. It's really been a hard-fought contest.
Well, it has, and that is something we can always count on. When we play Bowden, whether it's here or Chris Hunter Stadium, it's going to be a hard-fought contest. All right, Hill under center, brings the man in motion, left to right, pitches back to D.D. Cox. D.D. Cox tries to cut it up inside. Tate Ratledge is there, and he's going to knock him down right there at the 28-yard line. The line of scrimmage was the 29, I believe.
They're trying to run out past the end, and Tate Ratledge got good penetration over here on this left side of Darlington's defensive line and forced him to go back inside where he had help, and he was just gobbled up over there.
He was, and no gain. It's going to be second down and 10. The ball's is marked just outside the 28-yard line of the Red Devils. 3:40 to play here in the third quarter. Darlington trails by 2, and now a timeout is going to be called by Bowden. So timeout on the field. Darlington trailing 15-13. We're going to send it back to WLAQ for a commercial break, and we'll come back for Bowden's second down play. Don't go away. Back here at Bowden, 15-13. The Red Devils lead the Tigers here in the third quarter. Getting late in the third quarter. A hard-fought game, Eddie.
Well, it's kind of a surprising timeout at this point in the game. Usually at this point in the game, coaches are hoarding their timeouts, trying to save them for later in the game. But Robert Andrews has done a masterful job of managing the clock and the play here tonight. But now he's down to 2 should they get behind.
All right, Hill in a shotgun formation. 2 wide outs to this side. Darlington with extra men coming up. He's got a man after him. He's going to throw the ball. Incomplete. Almost intercepted by Carl Swiger. And right now, Hill doesn't have any time to throw at all, Eddie. He has a man on him every time he drops back to pass.
Well, I'm sure that's why they went into the shotgun like that, to try to give him a little bit more time in there to throw. Just a good rush that time, and I don't know how Carl missed that. We were kind of blocked at the angle he was going down, and that was close to an interception.
3rd down and 10 for the Red Devils. The line to make is their own 38-yard line. 3:28 to play in the 3rd quarter.
Like
Wing T formation. Yeah, he's got a. He's going to roll to his right. Tate Ratledge is on him. Tate Ratledge grabs him on the top of the shoulder pads and tackles him for a sack. Loss of about 10. And Eddie, right now, the Bowden line is having a very difficult time with Darlington's defensive line.
Well, you can see why there's so many colleges that are looking at Tate Ratledge. This is a big man out there chasing down a much smaller, fast guy, and he catches him from behind and brings him down. Just an amazingly athletic play.
Nathan Hill is going to be in punt formation for Bowden. Tajay Watley on the near hash mark on 49 and almost blocked. The ball hits and rolls, and typical punt. Dee Cox down there, and they have a really great punt system, Eddie. The way they do it is Dee Cox gets a head of steam going downfield. Hill doesn't kick a particularly high ball, but he kicks it end over end, and when it hits the ground, Cox is generally around it, and that gets a nice roll.
Well, he's doing that rugby-style kick. He doesn't run as far as some of the rugby-style kickers does, but he takes enough steps to give D.D. Cox time to get down there, and that bounce he's got on there, they get a good roll out of it.
Very effective punting game for the Bowden Red Devils. Darlington starting at their own 43-yard line on the near hash mark. Tigers trail by 2. Tajay Watley in motion left to right. Handoff on a speed sweep. Tajay Watley in the secondary. He's gone. Nobody's going to catch him. And that's going to be a 56, let's mark it, 56-yard touchdown run for Tajay Watley. And Eddie, when he hit the corner and he broke through the first line, that was it.
It was obvious he was gone. Just a sweep out there. Just give it to him, let him run out wide, and use his best weapon, which is that speed he's got, and just gone. You could tell about 10 yards after he got the ball that nobody was going to catch him.
2:29 to play. This will be the first lead of the night for the Darlington Tigers, 19-15. Griffin Brewster has come in, and Darlington's going to try another 2-point conversion. Power I formation. Brewster fakes it to Tajay Watley. He's rolling to his right. Good to Jacob Hunt. Right through the hands of the Bowden defender, and Jacob Hunt leaped up and got it, Eddie. 2-point conversion is good, and the Tigers extend the lead to 6.
Nice play. We've seen some nice pass catching by Jacob Hunt tonight. He just took it away from the defender. Defender was right on him, had better position, and Jacob just went up there and took it away from him. Nice play, nice throw, great catch by Jacob Hunt.
And you know something else, Eddie? Griffin was 0 for 8 in the first half in passing. Second half, he's really looked a lot sharper and has completed some really good passes.
Well, he has. Good to see him getting back on track. I didn't realize he was 0 for 8 in the first half.
All right, 3 for 6 here in the second half. The information coming from our statistician and executive producer.
She needs a keyboard where she can type all this stuff and doesn't have to do the hand signals to you.
And the comment from the studio, and WLAQ is a good producer too, and we agree. All right, Alex Little.
I'm glad you
toe meets leather and overhead kick. Ball's going to come down at the 18, and the return man is going to bring it out to about the 30-yard line. End over end kick, Eddie. And again, when you get that ball, you want people to just run straight up field. Kyle Franklin did gain about 12 on that. But
he ran about 45 yards, I think. Unfortunately, only 12 of it was forward.
Yeah.
Good coverage by Darlington on that play.
All right, we're in a barn burner down here at Bowden. The Red Devils were up 15-0 at one time, and then Darlington has now come back to take a 21-15 lead. 2:22 to play here in the third quarter. Both teams trying to scratch out a region victory. Man in motion right to left, and they're going to run a counter to D.D. Cox. He's in the secondary. And, the ball's fumbled, and Rhett McDermott. Whoa. Rhett McDermott falls on it, but Ezra Barnett, Eddie, he just smacked Cox, and Cox fumbled the ball, and Rhett McDermott recovers it, and the Tigers now are set up in good field position at the 40-yard line of the Red Devils.
Well, I was just about to, before he fumbled that ball, I was just about to say how dangerous he is, that counter play, and he was through the line and gone, and then we hit him. First mistake I've seen him make tonight, and a big break for Darlington.
And is that the first turnover for Bowden tonight?
I believe so.
It sure is. Our statistician brings that information to us.
I understood her that time.
All right, Griffin Brewster in a shotgun formation. Two wide outs to this side. Tajay Watley in the slot. Now umpire throws a penalty on the Darlington Tigers. Illegal substitution.
Are there 12 men out there?
I don't know. Count them. He was counting them.
11. I don't see but 11 out there.
Okay.
Jacob Hunt goes off, and nobody comes on. I guess there were 12.
Yeah, I guess so. Illegal participation. Jacob Hunt, wide out to either side. Griffin Brewster. Tajay on a reverse. Tajay is at 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Dives for the pylon. Touchdown. Yikes. 45 yards on a reverse to Tajay Watley, and the Tigers have gotten another 6 points to go up 27-15. I haven't seen that play in a while.
No, they just turned around. Zaylen Wood for Bowden was sitting on the ground in frustration. He almost broke that play up, and he just barely escaped from him, but when he did, he was gone.
All right, Alex Little is going to come out for a point after attempt. He's out there, but Griffin's coming back out. Let's see. Maybe the Tigers are going to go for it. Well, that looks like the Tyler. Yeah. Actually, that's not Alex Little. That was Casey Gunn. So Darlington going for a 2-point conversion. Griffin Brewster hands it to Tajay Watley. Tajay Watley in the end zone. And right now, Darlington has the momentum in this football game. 2:03 left to play in the game after a 45-yard touchdown run by Tajay Watley and a 2-point conversion by Tajay Watley. The Tigers now lead 29-15. So we're going to send it back to WLAQ for a quick commercial break, and we'll come right back for Darlington's kickoff, and our heads are spinning with everything that's happened in just the past few minutes, and we'll explain that when we get back.
Have you ever seen a game turn this fast? Have you ever seen a game turn this fast?
I can't hear you.
Oh. Can't hear me through the headphones?
I can't hear you. Write it down. All right, back here at Warren Sewell Field, Darlington has exploded, Eddie, for 16 points here in the past couple of minutes. And
well, I was trying to ask you during the break, have you ever seen a game turn this fast?
Well, I have not. And Alex Little kicks it deep. This is Cox at the 8 coming to this side. He's got it running room. He tried to cut it inside, and then he cut it back outside, and he's going to be taken down. Ian Payne, Eddie, he kept up with it, and he got Cox down at about the 30-yard line.
Well, again, 45 yards horizontally and not so many forward.
Yeah, you know, that's one of the things that if you ever see Tajay Watley, he just runs straight upfield.
Because Tajay is so fast. If I was that fast, I would run straight
upfield,
I would try to circle around myself.
All right, and no, I've never seen a game turn quite so fast as this one has. Hill under center. He's got a double wing formation, hands off to his fullback, and boy, he just rumbles out, Eddie, past the first down marker out to about the 41-yard line. And boy, I'm glad I'm not trying to tackle number
Zaylen.
21, Zaylen Wood.
He's the guy who almost broke up that reverse that Griffin flipped to Tajay, and he is just a load. What a weapon.
1:41 to play here in the third quarter. Darlington now up 29-15, trailed 15-0 at one time. Speed sweep left to right, and Darlington has a man come up and grab the ball carrier. Kyle Franklin doesn't let go of him, and he's going to be brought down after a gain of about 7.
Well, Bowden, there's no give up in Bowden. They are really fighting. They still believe they can win this ball game, and we've got over 13 minutes left now, ticking down under 13 minutes, but there's still a lot of time left in this game and a 14-point lead.
Well, you know, every time you play Bowden, you're going to have a battle.
Yes.
You know, there's no Darlington-Bowden game that is not a hard-fought battle between two teams that are really going to go at you tooth and nail. Hill in a shotgun, rolling to his right, has a man coming in on him. He's going to throw the ball. Oh, just over the outstretched hand of D.D. Cox, and he had to get it over the heads of Stepp and Atha, and just could not get it to Cox, and it's going to be third down and about 3.
Running for his life and just not able to get what he wanted to on that throw. Still made a throw, and it was long. It wasn't short, but not able to get his feet set to make as accurate a throw as he might normally do. He's a good quarterback.
He sure is. He sure is. You know, this is a good team, and they really do fight hard. It's third down and about 3, 34.9 seconds left. Hill with a double wing formation. He's going to hand off to his fullback, and his fullback is going to drive forward for the first down. And, Eddie, that was just power running straight up the middle.
Just right between the center and the guard, and just a give on that dive play to the fullback. Somebody looks like they're cramping for Bowden out there.
Yeah, a little timeout here for an injury. 27.5 seconds left to play here in the third quarter. If you're just joining us, a wild third quarter. Darlington trailing 15-7 at the half, now leads 29-15. Bowden led 15-0 at one time, and this game turned very quickly once Darlington started scoring.
Two quick touchdowns that just kind of caught everybody's surprise. It looks like they're going to try to get off one more play before the quarter ends.
First and 10 for Bowden at the 48-yard line of Darlington. Hill under center, man in motion, goes right to left, and they're running that counter to Cox. Cox trying to get to this side, Eddie, and there was Elijah Ball to meet him. He tried to cut it back to the left. There was no go there.
Didn't fool Elijah a bit. He caught him from behind, just kind of picked him up. There's really nowhere for him to go.
Well, that'll be the end of the third quarter. So 3 quarters in the books tonight, and Darlington now leads 29-15, and this game's not over. So don't go away, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to send it back to WLAQ for a commercial break, and then we'll come back for the fourth quarter. Back here at Warren Sewell Field. Darlington and Bowden locked in a typical Darlington-Bowden game. Hard fought, swaying back and forth. Both teams fighting for every inch. And Eddie, you know, we talked about this before the game. This is what high school football is all about. Well, this is the kind of game that epitomizes the high school football experience.
Well, just back and forth, hard fought. It's been an entertaining game.
2nd down and 12. Fake to his running back, Hill, throwing the ball downfield. He's got a man wide open. D.D. Cox at the 11. Got behind the Darlington secondary. And Bowden is going to be set up again. And boy, I tell you, Hill has made some good throws.
Well, that's what we've been afraid of ever since the first half. He was so far behind, nobody even knew he was there.
Yeah, and if that ball had been a little farther out in front, he would have had a touchdown.
Yes.
He had to wait for it. But Hill had pressure on him. Did a good job getting that ball downfield. Double wing formation, man in motion is Cox. Cox cutting it up into the middle of the field, and he's going to be inside the 5-yard line. Let's see where they mark it. No, he'll be down to the 6. So it's going to be 2nd and goal. That was a 1st and goal from the 10. Now it'll be 2nd and goal from the 6. Zaylen Wood is starting to come to the side. Excuse me, Kyle Franklin trying to get to the sideline. He is injured. He has fallen down on the field.
I think that's a cramp from him, too. I don't think it's an injury. I think it's a cramp.
Well, we sure hope that's what it is. You know, they're very painful, but they're not the kind of thing that's damaging.
Right. Only debilitating at this moment.
So hard-fought game, 11:08 to play here in the football game. Darlington 29, Bowden 15. Darlington again 2-2, 1-0 in region 6A play with a big game next week against Mount Zion of Carroll County. And Bowden losing to Tryon last week. They want to get off. They want to get a victory in the 6A region column. And so it's a hard-fought game. Darlington had all the momentum, and all of a sudden Bowden has come flying back. And, Eddie, that's what we would expect.
Well, we've all the times I've been down here, I've never seen him give up. Last year, the 28-7 victory by Darlington is one of the rare games that wasn't so close and hard-fought like this. The only thing that makes me feel better about them being on the 6-yard line is they can't throw that long pass.
All right, Hill under center is double wing formation. Darlington moving men around. Quick pitch to Cox coming to this side. He's trying to get to the sideline. Let's see. They mark it. Yes, he did. 6-yard touchdown run by D.D. Cox. And that is going to pull Bowden to within 8. He got in just on this side. The pylon, he is down too, Eddie. It's hard to see down there where we are up in the press box.
Just as he was going in over there, one of the Bowden fans held up a big sign and completely blocked me.
He's got a cramp. And so right now a little timeout on the field. We don't know how long this will last, but Darlington trailed by 15. The Tigers then went up by 14. Bowden has come roaring back to score a touchdown to trail by 8. And let's see if they will try to kick the extra point. They've really struggled with the extra points tonight.
Well, as we said, they've got that straight-on kicker, and sometimes the ball has gone in funny directions. Looks like D.D. Cox is loosening up. Has gotten loosened up some.
Hill's coming out, and they're going for 2. They trail 29-21. Wing T formation. Hill under center, man in motion, right to left. Hill's going to roll out here to his left, and the play has been blown dead. Illegal procedure called against Bowden. and they've had several of those tonight.
Yeah, I assumed somebody on the line moved. The line judge over there on the far side threw the flag, but I didn't see anybody. I didn't see anybody from Bowden moving, but apparently they did.
Well, I think they're going to try again on a 2-point conversion. Interestingly, Eddie, doing that, they got a nice field goal to start the scoring, but they have struggled kicking since then. Hill, and he is under center. Single setback. He's going to throw the ball. Another penalty against Bowden. Illegal procedure.
We can't hear the whistles up in here with the windows closed, but I couldn't figure out why the Darlington cover man just stopped like that, and he threw the ball. Of course, he was wide open because the play had stopped.
All right, now it's going to be the ball is going to be placed at the 13-yard line, and Hill comes back in. So Bowden will go for a 2-point conversion from the 13 after 2 illegal procedure penalties. Hill, the wing T, he's under center. Single wide out to this side, and he's going to roll to his left. He's going to throw the ball. Can't see.
I think it's no good, but I can't see. No good.
No good. In and out of the hands of the intended receiver. I did see it bouncing around off some hands. And now we have a penalty against Darlington, a holding penalty.
Curiouser and curiouser.
Well, Eddie, you know, the only thing you can say about this is that normally a holding penalty is going to against the defense is an automatic first down, but this is a point after.
Well, so now they're on the moved it up to the 6.5-yard line approximately, so they have another shot.
All right. This will be the 4th attempt to run a 2-point conversion play by Bowden. Hill under center. He's rolling to his right, looking into the end zone. He's going to throw the ball. Now 2 more flags come in. Holding now against Bowden. It is an incomplete pass, and Darlington will refuse that penalty, and Bowden will trail by 8. So the score 29-21, Darlington over Bowden with 10:52 left to play here in the football game. And we're going to send it back to WLAQ for a commercial break and come back for Darlington's receipt of the Bowden kickoff. Don't go away. Back here at Bowden, 10:52 to play here in the football game. Stay tuned for the Steak and Shake post-game report coming after tonight's football game. And we also will be naming the Honeymoon Bakery icing on the cake player of the game. Sponsored by the Honeymoon Bakery, Broad Street, Rome, Georgia. Right now, this game has gone on for a long time, Eddie. It is approaching 10 o'clock. We still have almost the entire 4th quarter to play. And I have to confess, that's the first time I've ever seen 4 PAT attempts on the same touchdown. It's going to be an end-over-end kick coming to a man at the 40. That's Ian Payne. And Eddie, he grabs that ball and runs straight upfield, and Darlington will have good field position to start this possession at the 46-yard line of the Tigers.
Well, this is a big possession for Darlington because if Bowden gets a stop here, they're going to have all the momentum, and they're playing like a team with nothing to lose, like they believe in themselves, and they've really played an impressive game here tonight, just refusing to quit. They They were up 15, then they were down 14, but that hasn't cut into their enthusiasm or effort one bit.
All right, 1st and 10 for the Darlington Tigers, close to the near hash mark. Griffin Brewster in a shotgun formation. He's going to hand the ball off to Colin Rogers. Colin Rogers keeps running. Colin Rogers inside Bowden territory. He's down to about the 46-yard line of the Red Devils. Eddie, you know, he cut that ball up, just kept those legs moving, and he is fairly close to a first down. Let's see where they mark it. He's about 2 yards shy. The down marker on the other side is not exactly where the ball is.
Yeah, doesn't look like that. That was a nice run by Colin. Just kept those feet churning. Just refused to go down.
Griffin Brewster hands off to Colin Rogers, and he is going to be knocked down at about the 46.
Ran the same play again, and Bowden just was on it that time.
Yeah, it's going to be 3rd down at about 2. And I heard somebody up here say there's a flag. Let's see what it's going to be. The referees are consulting. I don't even see the flag.
I never did see it either.
All right. This is a big one.
This is illegal participation.
Yeah. Illegal participation against Bowden. That's a big, big break for the Darlington Tigers and a huge mental mistake for someone on the Bowden team, as the Tigers now have a 1st down and 10 at approximately the 32-yard line. The Red Devils. Griffin Brewster hands it to Tajay Watley. Man, Eddie came flying in, and Tajay cut up field to avoid the tackler, and that was really a great play by number 52. And I'm trying to look for him here, and I don't see him. 52, but boy, he came flying in from his linebacker spot.
I think Tajay was trying to go out wider than that, trying to go off tackle, and he forced him to go back in between the guard and the tackle, and they just stacked him up.
Darlington up 29-21, 9 minutes left to play here in the football game. Handoff to Tajay Watley. Gets running room. Tajay to the far sideline. Tajay is going to be inside the 20. He's still running, and he's knocked out of bounds.
Touchdown.
It's a touchdown. He was knocked out right there in the end zone. Wow.
This has been a night of big plays.
32-yard touchdown run by Tajay Watley. And that extends Darlington's lead back to 14, and the Tigers will now come in and try to extend it to 15.
Bowden has done all their damage to Darlington, mostly on long passes. Darlington has done most of their damage to Bowden on long runs.
Tajay Watley has just been amazing tonight. I don't know what his yardage numbers are. Little in for the point after. Payne gets it, high kick. It is going to be good. So 8:55 to play here in the football game. Darlington now 36-21 over the Red Devils. We're going to send it back to WLAQ for a quick commercial break, and we will come back for Darlington's kickoff. Don't go away, because Bowden is going to try to come back. All right, back here at Bowden, ladies and gentlemen, this has been an amazing football game, Eddie. You know, Darlington made so many mistakes in the first half, trailed 15-0 and 15-7 at the half. Tigers have had the momentum in the second half, 36-21 over Bowden, but Bowden's not going away.
No, they're not. if Darlington wins, and that's an if because there's still 8:55 left, and Bowden is certainly capable of coming out. But if Darlington wins tonight, they have earned a victory over a noble opponent. Bowden has really done, and you can only shake Bowden's hand if we win, and that's an if right now.
Little approaches the ball, high end over end kick. It's going to come down to a man at the 14. That's Hill. Hill, the quarterback. He's running to the middle of the field. Now he's coming back to the left and
knocked down by his own man.
Yeah, knocked down by his own man. But a nice running, a nice run back by Hill, the quarterback. He took that ball, Eddie, inside the 20 over here on the near side, ran into the middle of the field, then came back to this side, and he ran into his own man, and he's knocked down at the 35.
Well, Nathan Hill is a gamer, just refusing to go down and kept cutting back, and he ran into Nathan Powell, who was knocked down on that play. And Powell's over here very upset with himself that happened, but just one of those things that happened. But Nathan Hill is a gamer.
All right, double wing formation. Hill under center. He fakes it to a man coming to this side. He's going to throw the ball downfield, and he is absolutely racked by Tommy Atha as he lets go of the ball. Tommy Atha on a blitz, but incomplete, intended for Cox, who has really done a lot of damage to Darlington tonight.
Well, I know, like both of us, our heart was in our throat when we saw him, D.D. Cox, running downfield, and Nathan Hill with the ball in his hand about to throw. We rushed him, and he had to throw it before he wanted to.
Second down and 10 at the 35-yard line of Bowden. 8:38 to play in the football game. Tigers up 36-21. If you're just joining us, this has been a wild football game by two very worthy opponents. Hill under center. Man in motion is Cox. Fake it to Cox. Now he's going to throw a swing pass out to him over his head. And, Eddie, that's one of the few bad passes Hill has thrown tonight.
Yeah, I think he's just a little pumped up. Even though it's late in the game, he ought to be tired. He's still pumped, and he's still fighting hard, and he just put a little too much mustard on that ball and just overthrew him a bit.
All right, this is a big play for both teams. 3rd and 10. Bowden trails by 15 with 8:33 to play in the football game. They're at their own 35-yard line. Wide out, Tyler Lofton to the right. Hill under center, Cox in motion, fakes it to him. Hill's going to come back to this side on a screen pass, complete 40-45, and he's going to be knocked out of bounds at about the midfield stripe. Let's see where they mark it. And actually going to mark it farther than that, but it is a first down for Bowden. A really nice play call by Coach Andrews.
Well, I know that Darlington's players are going to have nightmares of big number 21 rumbling down the field. Just a well-designed play, fake everybody to the right and then throw back to the left on the screen over there. He had some blockers in front of him, and we did well to run him out at the 46-yard line.
1st and 10 for Bowden at the 46-yard line of Darlington. Hill in a shotgun formation. He's going to fake it to Wood, going to his right, and he's going to throw the ball incomplete. Let's see, I'm trying to see who that was intended for. It looked like it was intended for D.D. Cox. And that's going to be incomplete. Nice little designed play, Eddie, with the guard pulling to get out front and help block.
Well, a rollout like that, and I guess they just got a little pressure on him. He threw the ball short, threw it at D.D. Cox's feet out there.
2nd down and 10 at the 46-yard line of Darlington. 7:54 to play in the football game. Hill, shotgun, rolls to his right. He's going to throw the ball. Intercepted. Oh, my goodness gracious. Is that Tajay?
I believe so.
Yes, Tajay Wally with an interception. And he's going to be dropped at about the 44-yard line of Darlington. Hill threw the ball, and Tajay stepped in front of D.D. Cox, the intended receiver, Eddie. And Darlington will have the football. Let's see. Yeah, first and 10 for Darlington. 7:46 to play in the game. Tajay Watley, thus far, Eddie, has to be the Honeymoon Bakery icing on the cake player of the game. He's
been, yes, he has. I was kind of leaning to Jacob Hunt earlier, but I don't think you can deny Tajay.
And Zaylen Wood is coming off the field. He is hurting.
Looks like he's cramping some. Yeah.
Yeah, boy, he is a big player. He is fast. He is strong, and he has played hard tonight. 7:46 to play. First and 10 for Darlington at their own 42-yard line after the interception. Griffin Brewster in a shotgun formation, and he's going to hand the ball off to a running back. That's Colin Rogers, who's right up the middle. Or is that Carl? Let's see.
I think it's Carl.
Yeah, Carl Swiger. Carl Swiger on a big run right up the middle, and he gains about 18. Well, let's see, 16. They're going to mark it 16 at the 42-yard line of the Bowden Red Devils. And now the clock and the score in favor of Darlington as we're about to hit the 7.5-minute mark.
Well, that's one of the first times I've seen their defense look a little tired tonight.
Griffin Brewster in a shotgun formation with Carl Swiger. Hands it off to Carl again. Carl getting a little more running room, and he dives forward, Eddie, off of right tackle. And he's going to be down at about the 36-yard line for a gain of 6.
Nice, solid game by Carl, just running between the guard and tackle. He came from the left side of the offensive formation and ran to the right side of the line.
Boy, right now Darlington is looking like they've got a little bit of extra energy to go against a very fatigued Bowden defense.
Well, this is the first series I've seen them look tired at all. And they do look tired.
Wide out to either side. Griffin Brewster looking to the sideline, trying to milk the clock just as much as they can. Hand off to Carl Swiger. Carl Swiger hesitates, and then he bursts through a hole off the right side, Eddie. He's going to be down to about the 31-yard line. That'll be a first down for Darlington.
Tate Ratliff just absolutely pancaked a player for I believe that's Mays McIntyre, just absolutely pancaked him on that play over there. He's getting up. He got up slowly.
Let's see. It looked like a first down. Now they're going to, now they're going to signal first down. There was a conference going on with the referees.
Yes, they've conferred many times tonight, haven't they?
Boy, they have. Now the clock starts. Tigers, Eddie, if they run the play clock down, can get it down to about the 6-minute mark.
They should, yeah, they can run it just about under about 5:55, I think.
36-21 Darlington. In the fourth quarter, Tigers trying to save themselves after falling behind 15-0. Carl Swiger takes the handoff. Great penetration, Eddie, by the defensive line of Bowden, and they drop him after maybe a half yard.
Well, they tried the left side of that Bowden defensive line that time, and they were having none of it. They just shut him right down on the line of scrimmage.
5:35 to play. The referee just set the ball. And this is going to be one of those situations where Darlington just wants to get yards, keep moving the chains, and the Tigers can run this clock down on this series. Hand off to Carl Swiger. Carl Swiger with running room off the left side. Carl Swiger breaks the tackle down the far sideline. Touchdown, Carl Swiger, the senior, on a 31-yard touchdown run. And Eddie, he just kept breaking tackles until he got to the far sideline, turned on the Jets, and Darlington has extended their lead to 42-21.
Just great effort by Carl running outside off tackle, and just kept bouncing outside and getting wider and wider, and got the corner, turned the corner on those guys, and just fought hit several times going in, but he took it up, refused to go down, and just took it all the way in.
5:02 to play here in the football game. Darlington now up 42-21. Little comes in for the extra point, and the Tigers have called a timeout. So timeout on the field. Darlington just scoring a touchdown with Carl Swiger on a 31-yard touchdown run. And, wow, just a hard-fought game.
Well, obviously, 5:02 left. Darlington with a chance to go up by 22. So, really has put Bowden in a hole here late.
Yeah, and you know, the way that Hill has been throwing the ball and Cox has been catching the ball, it still doesn't feel safe, does it?
No, it doesn't. I've been very impressed with Nathan Hill tonight, and also very impressed with D.D. Cox. Really been impressed with the whole Bowden team. They have really fought, shown more speed than I had been led to believe that they had, and Darlington has been fortunate to fight their way back and to be in this position right now.
All right, Little in for the extra point. Payne will hold for the point after. Here's the snap. The ball's down. It's up. It is good. And Ian Payne, he deserves credit for that. That ball bounced to him, Eddie. Did you see him scoop it up off the surface of the grass?
That was a nice play to get that down, and Alex Little just booms it right through with that big leg he's got. And nice play by Ian Payne to save that one.
All right, 5:02 to play in the football game. Darlington 43, Bowden 21. We're going to send it back to WLAQ for a commercial break, and we will come back for Darlington's kickoff. Don't go away. All right, back here at Warren Sewell Field, a hard-fought battle tonight. Not quite over. Darlington up 43-21, but as we have said, with Nathan Hill at quarterback and D.D. Cox at receiver, nothing is safe right now for the Darlington Tigers. They have really looked good tonight. Eddie, Alex Little teeing it up for the Darlington Tigers as soon as he gets the official signal from the referee. There it is. High end over end kick. It's going to come down to Hill at the 23, runs into the middle of the field, trying to get running room, trying to get to the far side, and he's going to be dragged down. Now there's a flag down over here on the near side. And
well, that
Eddie,
was the guy who knocked Nathan Hill down the last time. That was number 6, Nathan Powell, and I don't know what happened, but he was involved in it.
And Gil Maurer was over here mixing it up with somebody. Personal foul against Darlington that's being called against Gil Maurer, and he's getting some extra coaching over on the sideline right now. But that's something you surely don't want to do, is to give up a 15-yard personal foul.
No, not a good time, and obviously a pointless penalty. Marking off 15 big ones against Darlington now. That's going to put them, what's that, the 37-yard line now?
Yep, that 37-yard line, and 4:54 to play here in the football game. And Hill's going to go under center. He's got a wide out to this side, running that double wing formation. Man in motion comes right, left to right, or their right to our left. That's Fortson, and he is going to be tackled after a gain of about 1. Not a lot of running room there.
No, and able to catch him from behind. That's one of the few times we've done that tonight. Just caught him and shut him down for just a short gain of about a yard. Coming from his from the offensive formations right to the left over here toward the Bowden stands, and just shut him down right there.
Hill under center. Darlington, 3 down lineman, man in motion, Sports, and Hill back to throw. He's going to throw the ball incomplete. It's short hopped it.
That wasn't
and almost intercepted by Tajay Watley.
That was number 7, Carter Powell, that threw that ball.
All right, people coming in and out. And that's right, Eddie. I missed that. Number 7, Carter Powell. Or Nathan, let's see. Well, here it is. Carter Powell, yeah. He's a freshman, and he's in at quarterback for Bowden. 4:07 to play in the football game. Bowden has 2 men in motion at the same time. They're going to be called for an illegal shift. And that will be another 5 yards against them. You know that they've had several of those illegal procedure penalties or illegal motion penalties tonight.
I think that was just some miscommunication. A different guy bringing the plays in. Looked like they both thought they were supposed to go in motion.
All right, it's going to be a 3rd down and 15 for Bowden. The ball is marked at about the, 39. And the line to make, let's see, it's not, well, the way they have it marked, it is, I'm sorry, it's ball marked at the 34. Line to makes the 49. And they're going to hand it to the fullback, and he is knocked down right there. And that's number 5, Cameron Buchanan, the sophomore. 3:53 to play in the football game. Let's see what down they're marking it. Now they've got it 3rd down again. So they must have had the wrong down.
I think they just had the wrong mark because they forgot that was a penalty on that play previous. I think 3rd down is correct.
All right, Powell comes in with the play. Darlington up 43-21, 3:28 to play in the football game. And man in motion goes left to right, and now there's going to be another stoppage. Let's see what they're going to call here.
I heard somebody, well, now they got it marked 4th down. I heard somebody up here in the booth say it was 4th down. So.
All right, let's see what they're going to do now. Discussion going on with the referees and the coaches. So it'll be 4th down, 14.
Well, did the Bowden coach call timeout? Why did they stop the play?
Well, yeah, maybe he did. Well, Eddie, you know, the clock has started back. So, I'm perplexed, but looks like Bowden's going to punt the football. And this is Hill. He scoops the ball up off the ground, and he has fielded several balls tonight, Eddie, like a shortstop.
Well, he's walking off, and he looks exhausted, doesn't he? He's really fought hard here tonight. Gave it everything he's got. He has not one thing to be ashamed of. He's left it all out on the field.
And, you know, by the time this game's over, it's going to be close to 3 hours since the game began. So they've been out there a long time. It's been a warm evening, not particularly hot, but it has been a warm evening.
It's not hot to us. I think it's hot outside. We're sitting in here in an air-conditioned press box, which I appreciate. It's pretty nice.
It is nice. And we appreciate the hospitality of the Bowden folks down here with us tonight. All right, Darlington comes out. I believe that, let's see, who is that at quarterback?
That's 11.
And that's number 11, Hayden Shin. And he hands off the ball, I couldn't see who it was he handed it off to.
I think it may have been Colin Rogers.
All right, and it's going to be a gain of about 5. Ball's at the 44-yard line of Bowden. 2:22 to play in the football game. Tigers up 43-21. And if you're a Darlington fan, you're feeling like you've got this one, but you just never want to say that for sure till the clock hits zeros. Hayden Shin in for quarterback for Darlington, hands off to, is that number 33 or 23? I think that might be Luke McDermott.
Yeah,
number 23. If you remember, Luke had a nice touchdown run against Gaston. He's a freshman. And so Luke McDermott, Dawson Williams goes off the field. He's coming back with the play.
It may have been Dawson Shag that ran that ball, that first down play.
And I think that's Frank Manning that's in for Darlington at quarterback. Nice opportunity for Frank to get out on the field. He's going to hand off to Luke McDermott. Luke McDermott, oh boy, he looked like he was going to break it, Eddie, just like he did against Gaston. But he gets tripped up just as he gets inside the 35, but he made it to the 31.
Well, you've got these young guys in. I don't think Tommy Eighth is interested in scoring anymore, but they've got their chance trying to make the most of it. Good run by Luke. He's really turned into a running machine here, hasn't he?
He has. You know, great speed. Frank Manning comes in with the play for the Darlington Tigers. 50 seconds left to play here in the football game. Wide out to either side. Frank is going to take a knee. And that's going to be the last play of tonight's football game. And, boy, wow, Eddie, as the clock winds down here, we just breathe a sigh of relief.
Doesn't feel like a 22-point victory, does it?
No, and we all feel exhausted up here. But, Darlington will win 43-21. The Tigers will run their record to 3-2. Season halfway over. But a big game coming up next Friday night with Mount Zion of Carroll County. That's going to be for the inside track for the sub-region championship. And Bowden falls to 1-4, 0-2 in the region, but a hard-fought contest. And we're going to send back to WLAQ for some commercial messages. We'll come back for our wrap-up on the Steak and Shake post-game report. Don't go away, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.